Hi, my name's Stephen Press and I've been a professional cameraman for over 35 years. So I'm hoping to give you a couple of tips from those years of experience to make your one camera coverage of live streaming look a little better. My first tip is to arrive in plenty of time to get everything set up and ready to go. The ideal position is about on the halfway line, slightly raised, and that way you can get a view of the whole game. Another thing when choosing location, if it's a rainy or windy day, try and keep the wind behind you, and that will keep the rain off the lens. It's a good idea when you set up to have a good look where the sun is and see if that's going to be causing you problems. So once you've got the tripod set up, you've got the camera in place, the idea is to move it so that it's about in the middle, the weight of it's in the middle of the tripod. The next thing to do is the tensions on the tripod. This affects how smoothly it moves. What you want is you want them to be smooth as possible, so you're not straining against them, but you want them to be able to hold the camera in place when you're not touching it. And not touching the camera is actually a big part of it, because what you want to be able to do is to, like say there's a line out, you want to be able to framed up on the line out, and then just take your hands off the camera. And that way your movement from your hands or your body is not transferring to the camera. I like to work in close to the camera. I just find that if I'm in here, I can use this hand to steady the tripod a little bit more, especially if it's windy, and I can just slowly move and zoom in, zoom out, and follow the action. Because the tripod is up higher, I can follow the action on the screen and watch what's happening on the field. When you're zoomed in on the camera, small, tiny movements become quite big, shaky movements. So the trick is not to be zoomed in too far. And in fact, zooming in too far makes it harder to follow the ball. So I try and keep the ball in center frame, but I also try and keep in frame where I think the ball's going to next. So if the ball's being passed, I like to keep in frame the ball carrier and the person next to them. And then of course if the ball leaves the frame, like somebody kicks it or it's a long throw, the trick is not to try and chase the ball, the trick is to look at where the ball is going to go. So quite often you get a good idea, like if they kick the ball high in the air, instead of trying to look for it in the sky, which you're not going to be able to do, is if you stand in with your body and you move your body and your eyes to the person who is receiving the ball, then the ball will drop into frame and then you can carry on with the game there, and it's just a bit smoother, nicer way of doing it. Once again, when play has slowed down or stopped, take your hands off the camera and that's less shake. A wider shot generally is better and smoother, but once you've mastered being able to keep your ball in shot in a wider shot, feel free to go in. The thing with zooming is not to do sudden jerky zooms. The thing is to just do slow, careful moves. I hope some of that helps. And remember, just have a good time out there. And sometimes less is more. Don't try and overdo it, because you don't want to make the people at home seasick. And once again, keep aware of your safety and the safety of those around you. Good luck. Have fun videoing.